So, the Legion of Superheroes. I am actually someone who watched this series from the beginning because with the appearances of the Legion of Superheroes in Superman the Animated Series as well as in Justice League Unlimited, I was deeply interested in actually seeing what kind of adventures would go on with this team, getting to know them, getting to understand them. And with Superman being the vehicle for this series, because this was around the time that Superman Returns was coming out and they wanted an animated series involving Superman, this was a good opportunity. Superboy has always had a rich history with the Legion of Superheroes, and this was a good time to tap into it. Unfortunately, they couldn't really call him Superboy for some kind of reason. Either they chose not to, or because they wanted to use the word Superman or something along those lines. But I was also kind of meh about the whole situation too, because Justice League Unlimited had kind of given the impression that Supergirl was going to go off with the Legion of Superheroes and have her own adventures. But this series and that series, there's no connection there. So I kind of got my hopes up about something that would never be. But the series as a whole, only having 13 episodes, was still a lot of fun to me. I was happy to be introduced to all of these characters. Superman was a fun character, fresh from Smallville, young and optimistic, learning to control his abilities. That was kind of fun, and you always hear these tales about, Superboy or a young Superman running with the Legion of Superheroes. It was nice to actually get to see some of that. And the core Legionnaires were all very interesting and diverse. And granted, this was around the time you also had the Teen Titans and stuff like that. So teenage superheroes were very much something I was interested in seeing. Lightning Lad, who was hot-headed and brash, but a leader in his own right. Saturn Girl, who was very much like the Jean Grey of the group. Brainiac 5, smart and calculating. He was definitely one of my favorite characters. Phantom Girl initially felt like she was going to come off a bit like Raven from Teen Titans, but she was a lot more perky than you would have thought. Bouncing Boy, who people tend to underestimate because, Bouncing Boy. But he's actually a lot more capable than people give him credit for. Triplicate Girl, who only separates into 3 cells, but she makes pretty do with all of that. Timberwolf's story. I remember Timberwolf's story the most out of anything in this series. That was a lot of fun because the story of how he was transformed into like a werewolf hybrid because of his father's experiments. He was very much like a Wolverine of the group kind of situation. And Chameleon Boy, your Beast Boy shapeshifter situation. It was a who's who of fun and interesting characters, not to mention the extensive roster of other Legionnaires and their battle against the Fatal Five. Like, dude, come on. This series should have done so much better than it did, and I hate the fact that they limited it to 13 episodes per season. That's not enough time to really sell this series. And I don't even really remember toys coming out for this. If they did, it was really under the radar as far as I could tell. Granted, I wasn't really in the demographic at the time that this came out. I was about 16 when it came through. But seriously, if there was a lack of interest in any toy sales, it came because the first season was barely really around. Yeah, they did reruns and plenty of them, but 13 episodes does not endear people to a series. And it doesn't really help that the season finale was, Feral Lad kinda dying. Yeah, it's a connection to the comic books and a big part of the Legion of Superheroes, but oof. Feral Lad's death, that one caught me off guard. I was surprised when that happened, because I wasn't like a real reader of the comics at that point, but for the most part, I was on board with the series. my problem arose with the second season. And don't get me wrong, I like the second season well enough. It's just that they went in a much darker direction with the second season. And it was kind of odd. Why? You had a clone of Superboy Man, but it wasn't Connor, it was Superman X. Kal-El, who was, darker and I guess grittier versions, and everyone had aged up a little bit, which, it happens in the comics. The Legion tends to age a little bit more commonly, but that's because there's always an alternate timeline version of them. But, Lightning Lad had lost an arm, which Brainiac 5 was grappling with the original Brainiac trying to manipulate him and take him over. You had the whole Imperiex situation. And I'm sorry, I know Imperiex is from the comics, but Imperiex did nothing for me, if I'm being honest. Although the whole situation with Triplicate Girl, that was that storyline was kind of brutal. That was actually kind of brutal. And you got to be introduced to Dream Girl, who, if you know Dreamer from the Supergirl live action series, descended from the same race as that. Timberwolf got an episode that was a bit of a follow-up to his whole situation, but they really were trying to push the whole Superman X situation, and, Superman was aged up a little bit, and I don't know, it felt too much too soon. It really felt like too much too soon. Like 13 episodes and then suddenly we've shifted to everyone being older? Like, no. Like, guys, you needed time to just let this digest a little bit more. Get to know a few more characters. Like, even Young Justice kind of understood that, and honestly kind of faced a little bit of backlash to a certain degree, but the whole situation of jumping forward in time, suddenly everybody's older, Young Justice had time to breathe with that. 26 episodes, then bam, we're jumping ahead. Like, with a series like this, you need time to get people accustomed to these characters. And I will always be disappointed that it will always feel like Legion of Superheroes wasn't given that time. I really wanted this series to do well because I, despite everything, had a bit of a love for this series, a love for the Legion and the characters involved in all this, which is funny because I tend not to really like Legion comic books. That's the weird part. I've read a few Legion comics here and there. I don't much care for them in a lot of situations, just because I tend not to really care about the roster from time to time, because they just throw too many characters at you at any given moment. But I liked the idea of focusing on a core cast of characters, and my hope for the series was always that they'd slowly have episodes where various different Legionnaires would maybe team up with Superman or other members of the Legion, and much like Justice League Unlimited, you get to slowly know more and more of the characters as time went on. That's why I was interested, because I'm just like, oh hey, another series like Justice League Unlimited with a whole bunch of characters I'm not familiar with, but characters who probably have interesting powers, backgrounds, personalities that I could potentially get to know through different mix matching of situations. You could, it's enough room to grow, but 13 episodes is not enough room to grow. It's stifling. You put 13 episodes for maybe 5 characters that you deal with for a limited amount of time, and then you move on. And that's kind of what the first season somewhat did. Yeah, they focused on other characters from time to time, but it was about the core cast. And then the second season just tried to branch out far too much, and it just no, you still only have 13 episodes for the second season. You're not going to be able to make people care about all of this. I will always be bitter about the situation with the Legion of Superheroes. I will always feel like this was a good concept that really could have done well if given the proper opportunity and the right platform. But I don't feel like WB gave it its due, especially considering this came out around a time where a lot of action cartoons just were not being pushed by network. I don't know. I guess it was too ambitious for its time. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Did you believe in the Legion of Superheroes animated series like I did? Or did you just not connect with it? Did you never even bother to watch it? I'm interested to hear from you. But I'll always feel like we were cheated out of what could have been a really fun and interesting series. So it is with my dying breath that I will always say, long live the League. But until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. If you like this video, please do all the YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, bell, all that good stuff. Or don't. I ain't your daddy, but I still love you like one. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.